What is going on, Riff Keepers? It's your boy BodyBag here, bringing you another episode of the Coffin Chronicles. We've got a very special episode today. Our guest is Sean from the post-hardcore Sydney band Heist. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll get this kicked off. Welcome back, Riff Keepers. It's your boy BodyBag here. Now, today I've got a very special guest. So, I've got Sean from the Sydney-based post-hardcore band Heist, who brings the low-end thunder night in and night out. How are we doing, mate? What's happening?
Oh, not much, man. Just a lovely Friday afternoon. I don't know when this is getting released, but it's a Friday when I'm existing.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. So, how's things there in lovely Sydney at the moment?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I went for I got a Lime bike and I went and bought some sushi earlier on. Yeah,
Nice.
pretty good. Pretty good.
Nice.
Nothing crazy, man.
Nice, man. Pretty cruisy day, like it sounds. All right,
Hmm.
let's dive straight into it. So let's find out just a little bit more about yourself. So, what first brought you to creating music, and what made you be drawn to the heavy music?
Oh wow. I guess that goes back to, for me specifically, back to when I was like 14 years old or something. I got taken to this is ancient history, but a place called Highland Road in Greystanes. Shout out to anyone that knows that. Um, and there was a show on there, and like I was friends with this like goth kid in school. And he took me to this show, and then there was like I still remember the band. The first heavy band I ever saw was a band called Headhammer, um, who haven't existed for a long time now. And I thought that was cool. And then like I was really goth for a while, and then I don't know. I saw a hardcore band play at that same venue. Like it was like an all ages youth center type vibe thing. And then I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then I was like a super hardcore kid for a little while. And then I found like emo music. So then I was a super emo for a little while because I was a lost little teenager. And somewhere in the midst of all that, I picked up, I was playing drums at the time. And I begged my parents to buy me a drum kit. And they bought me a crappy electric drum kit. And I played that for years, to be honest. Um, yeah, yeah. In that, there's a story in that though. So one of the bands that I used to go and see at Highland Road was my current singer's high school band, and he also played drums in that high school band.
Oh wow! So I guess in the recordings and stuff, the drums get scrutinized pretty a lot, or because you
Oh
guys
man,
have
yeah,
so
yeah.
many
It's a
people.
lot, it's a lot of back and forth.
Uh, I know with myself and with my band, yeah, I generally like send out the entire demo of how the drums, like I envision the drums to sound. So it's sometimes you get thrown back to being like, yeah, I'm not an octopus, Brendan. Like,
Yeah. Guitarist, yeah. We still do that. When Chris rides drums, he's got like four cymbals going at one time. I'm like, bro, no one can play that. He's like, yeah, but it sounds cool. I'm like, fair enough, bro.
nice. So, who are some of your biggest influences that has influenced your playing style?
Within Heists, I don't know. It's changed a little bit over the years. We've sort of adapted with time. I guess we started out a lot more like hardcore, I guess, and like kind of higher tuned, screamy parts and like a lot of octave chords and stuff. I guess that was like Comeback Kid, like Stick to Your Guns, Ghost Inside ish, sort of like at the start. And then as we've moved on, like I think then we did our album in whenever that was, 2022, I think. And then Chris kind of learned how to sing a little bit, so we explored a little bit of that and had a lot of like pretty tones and explored that side of things. Whilst also trying to like chuck in some like I guess more commercially kind of breakdowny stuff. And then yeah, I suppose now it's developed to more like I don't know. We've kind of just thrown away all the rules and we're like, all right, let's just add synths then. Let's see what happens. And like let's have a rappy bit. Let's have Chris singing a bit. Let's have a guitarist guy who's crap at screaming scream a whole section. Like it's sort of just developing. And I guess I don't know. Now it's kind of like whatever we think feels big, but I don't know. Really, like we came as Romans. It's probably affecting what we're probably about to go in the studio and write. So see
Oh,
how that goes.
nice. Nice, nice. So with High, so as a group, take everyone through the writing process and give us a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. So from, from starts, of an idea to what do you call it, going into the recording. What does that look like?
Yeah, I guess that's also changed a little bit. So we've started working with Ione from a band called Ocean Sleeper. He did the whole EP that we just released. Um, I guess for a long time it was like Chris was writing literally everything, and then we'd take it to a guy who could make it sound a little bit better. And like there would be a little bit of back and forth of like with me and him, like vocal stuff or drum parts and things like that. But for the most part, he was writing most of it, and that sort of developed into, well, to be fair, the EP we went into the studio not as prepared as we usually are. So we had a tour fall through, and then we're like, well, let's just go record some music then. Like let's not waste the time. And then we went in and we were pretty unprepared. Well, not super unprepared, but like, yeah, I only definitely was like, that bit's crap, that bit's crap, that bit's crap. And then we kind of rewrote a lot of sections together. And there was like a really cool, like something we've never really done before was like sitting together, working out what the meaning is behind the songs, and then like working on like the lyrics together before we like put it hard down in the recording. Still, I think, like, yeah, I think Chris is the demo lord. He seems to he's got he's got a vision for things, and he usually executes it pretty good. And now we've got that, I suppose, that extra layer of like a producer that can actually help us like elevate the songs rather than just record them. Not that the other guys didn't elevate them, but like he's a lot more focused on like the songwriting aspects and stuff like that.
So we're diving in a little bit more into, your progression as a band and working with producers. So for people who aren't in bands, generally when you do go into the studio, you're working with some sort of level of producer, unless you've gone out and done pre-production with a producer. Can you take us a bit more on a journey on how Heist have been working with producers in the past, what they've brought, and then how they've influenced, your way of songwriting and also brought you to you where you are now?
Yeah, yeah. I think the point of like how they've influenced songwriting is a big one. So initially we worked with, on like our first EP, we worked with a guy named Sonny Truelove. And like me and Chris were in a different band before Heists, and similar sounding, but it was just basically a name change, but different members around us and stuff. Um, that was like a huge level up. So he was working with like Polaris on there, well, but I think it was a few years after that. But like he'd worked on Polaris on their EP and like done a couple of things with the Amity Affliction. Now everyone knows him because he's Sonny True's STL Tones, like he's a guitar tone dude. Um, yeah, I think going in for that was like not a rude awakening, but it was like we tried to initially do an album, which was something I wouldn't advise a young band to ever try and do. We ended up scrapping, I think there's 7 songs on APs, and I think we recorded 11. One was like a cool interlude thing. Um, we ended up scrapping 3 of those, and it sort of gave us a second to like, we didn't finish the vocals at the time either, because I think Chris got sick or something. Um, so that kind of taught us a big lesson of like, well, first of all, like what it's like working with someone in such a professional setting. I hadn't recorded anything with this band prior to that, so that was probably the most professional person I'd ever worked with in like a proper studio and like that sort of situation. Um, yeah, I think from that we learned a lot about not songwriting so much, but definitely like arrangement from Sonny. And he also had like him and I think it was Evan that he worked with. I can't remember his last name. They like pushed Chris a little bit as far as like his vocals were concerned, and we tried different things. And for the longest time, one of the songs on that Revenant was like our biggest song. It was like the essentially, if anyone's listened to Miles Away, it was like the Miles Away of that era. um, yeah, and then after that, what did we do after that? We worked with John O'Peters. He was our guy for a while. He's probably the best guitarist I've ever met in my entire life. Like he's, yeah, a virtuoso type character. Um, yeah, he sort of it broadened our horizons. So with that, there was a lot of writing, and that was like mostly Chris and him. Like I was working a day job at the time, but I'd rock into the studio at 6 p.m. and be like, "Oh, we've got half a song," and there was a lot of writing on that. It kind of happened all like the latter half of the album was recorded all over the back end of COVID. So there was just a lot of writing. We were kind of like sitting around doing nothing. So we're like, all right, let's just keep working on these songs, keep working on these songs. Um, yeah, huge level up. We did our biggest song to date with him, Left to Loathe. Um, and that's when we started experimenting with synths and stuff like that. And then, yeah, moving to Ione, I guess yeah, completely different process again. Like he's a lot more like about the arrangement and about um, how do the parts hit? Does the song have like a turn your head moment? And but then also like on the opposite end of that, like he's a lot less like guitar focused than say Jono was, or to be honest, I can't even remember working with Sonny. That was like a long time ago now. But yeah, I think it's good to for a band to explore as well, like to work with different producers, because then you do take that home, and then like whether you want to or not, like if you know how to use a digital audio workstation, you'll go home and then implement some of the tricks that you saw, or just have a new perspective in the way that you write music.
I think that's one big thing, and I think especially for people who are starting out in their careers,
Mm,
understanding that you have to write a lot of songs, and when you are working with producers, like you can learn so much. So just when going into the studio, just be so open to it. Like
mm.
that's one thing that I've learned over the journey. So yeah, this is great to get like that sort of peek behind the curtain, especially over such a successful band, and about how working with different producers has would you say, helped shaped your song, or just given you ideas and inspiration to like, try new things and be a little bit more bold?
Um, I would say a bit of both. Like to be fair, when we first started working with Jono, I was probably the worst bassist in the country, including kids who have like bought basses. Like, and he pushed us all pretty musically. Like he would always like push to be like, all right, we'll try this, take this next step, do this, be a better musician. Like he was a lot more focused on the musicianship side of everything, than say Ione, who's like much more about the song, I guess.
Mm.
Um, yeah, you definitely like from working with anyone. Like I think even I'm keen to start trying to like collaborate with other bands that we're friends with, and like see if there's a way to. It's hard because a lot of the people who want to do this with are probably interstate, but like seeing how that looks and seeing how like an actual collaboration song. Something you don't often see in metal. It's usually like guest vocal part. But I'm like, no, I like love Zuko. I'd love to hear a riff from Zuko and you know what I mean? That sort of
Yeah.
like meld. Um, and seeing what that looks like. The only issue with that really is like recording metal music as opposed to like pop music where you see that a lot is just a lot more expensive. Like, because you
Mm.
have to track guitars, track drums, you got to, yeah, a lot more, I don't know, arrangement needs to be sort of done with actual instruments rather than just someone writing MIDI stuff in. Um, yeah, yeah.
This may show my age, but that whole idea just takes me back to Limp Bizkit and Corn on the Family Values tour.
Mm,
Just
yeah, that's sick.
having something like that, yeah, would be absolutely awesome. So outside of music, what you call it? What do you do outside of music to, keep your inspiration? What's your day job looking like? What does a day in the life look like?
Yeah. So pretty the three of us to live in Sydney. So our drummer, Corey Dodd is his name. Shout out to Corey. He lives in Lismore, so I don't know what he does. I think he does something, some sort of trade thing. But the three of us that live in Sydney, so me, Chris, and Guy, we all pretty much work around the music industry. So um, Chris and Guy are both known for like Neck Up Media, is their company. They do a lot of like music videos for bands. They've done some pretty big stuff over the years. Um, they do a lot of like live content. Guy's much more into the photo game, so he'll do a lot of like promo photos for bands or even brands, like more clothing labels and that sort of stuff. But I guess, and I do digital marketing for musicians and like things around the music industry. I guess that keeps you pretty connected. Like, as you're either working with your peers on their stuff, or we're going out to shows just to I don't know, see our friends, like your colleague or your peers end up becoming your friends over time, or even like your clients become your friends. And even people that aren't our clients, like I think none of us are shy just going to a show because it seems like it's going to be a good time. I think everyone should do that. I think, yeah,
Yeah. Nah, absolutely. It sounds like, yeah.
yeah,
Well, isn't that the dream to make the day job the as part of your passion? So sounds like you guys are all what
yeah,
you call it ticking all those boxes, and yeah, it definitely comes across in the music because you can just tell just by what you guys put out how much you love it.
yeah, yeah. We definitely have fun, especially in these like later years. We're starting to, I don't know, we used to care so much about it, like just trying to make a song blow up. Now I'm like, if you do what you can, like it's kind of up to the people. Like we'll create art. Obviously, you do take that feedback back in when you release a song. Like if like a song totally tanks, and it's like, all right, well they didn't like that side of what we can give, so let's try this other side, or give them a little bit more of this side, or explore a side that has worked a little bit more. Um, yeah, I think as far as the songwriting stuff's concerned, or like what art you put out under your name, this is a bit of a side tangent, but like I don't know, I hear a lot of people talking about like, no, I'm going to do what I want, not what they want. I'm like, there's a middle ground.
Yeah.
There's definitely a middle ground. Like in exploring that side of what you can give. I don't know. Some people, I guess, maybe they've been in it too long. And it's just sort of like lost the passion for what made them famous. When we're not famous, but like you know, we're just doing our thing. Um, like maybe some people like lose part of the passion of the heavy side of things and want to go a bit softer, and then there's a bit of backlash because they were a heavy band.
Y-
I don't know, that time old tale. Like,
it's so funny because so many artists who start off heavy.
mm,
Probably probably one of the best examples is probably Bring Me the Horizon.
yeah,
So the way that they just made that transition, it's just like, wow, Ollie can sing now? Like, and
yeah,
he's good at it? Like, if I had that voice, there'd be no way you'd stop me from doing that. Like,
yeah,
um, also just getting better at songwriting as well. So
mm,
it's, you're 100% right is like, yeah, just being able to explore something, a little bit softer or just even more dynamic.
mm,
Because yeah, it just you want to take people on a journey. So I guess that was probably one of the big takeaways that stood out for me in regards to your latest EP is it wasn't a collaboration of songs. It was more like a story, and it took you on a journey. Did you guys like when putting together the track listing, um, really dive into okay, I want this to be, the moment where the hero dies sort of thing. This is where I want the listener to, you know, be taken to, a different place, or this is where I just want to punch them in the mouth. Like when you guys were
mm.
putting it together and doing your song selection for the EP, did you dive into that sort of things? Because that's what I got from listening to your EP.
Yeah. With the so one of the songs is a cover, so that was sort of a last minute thing that we just sort of to throw in on the end of there. Chris loves Pearl Jam, so we were like, let's just do it. Like, get it out of your system, brother. And when we had the demos, I was like, this kind of fits. Like, let's just shove it all together. Um, yes, I guess when we were like writing the lyrics and stuff, or like when we were putting together the ideas for the lyrics, there was a big focus on making sure that we hit like the four key points. What there was sacrifice, betrayal, loss, I guess, which is miles away, and something else. I don't know. Can't remember. It's in my notes somewhere. But we had like a big, yeah, a big focus on making sure that it was like it was kind of a story. So initially, what we wanted to do was to make like a four-part music video thing about a whole story, and it was going to go way too in depth. And then we realized we don't have that much money. And then some of the songs didn't quite make it, like that would have made sense for the story for that. So then we were like, all right, well, we'll just cut that loose, but then try and obviously keep it as within theme as we possibly can. I think that's something we've been trying to do a lot more lately. I've noticed in the past like weird music videos that don't really fit in with like on the album. We had a couple of like music videos that didn't really fit the rest of the vibe of the things, but we were trying to work it out. Um, Whereas this one, we were like, or at least by the end of it, like now that we're about to head into the next phase of making whatever the next thing is, we're taking a big focus on like not losing any of the dynamics of what we have or the ability to tell a story, but like make sure that we're keeping somewhat to a theme. Like it looks like it's like when people see or hear that music video, they're like, that's Heists. We know Heists. I think that's really important, like just like the whole brand imagery thing. With this release, yeah, there was definitely a focus around like making sure that all the songs could work together. To be fair, I've never tried to listen to it in a different order. It just kind of felt natural, like that order just came sort of naturally. Um, yeah, like what's first on it? It's Submerged in Pain, because that is like the ultimate EP opener as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. It's our set opener. It's just an opener.
Yeah.
Um, and then it ends with Black and Miles Away, which are both kind of like ballady songs. And I feel like that's a good way to end an EP or any sort of release. I always like the soft song at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Black came later though, so we sort of yeah, that's sort of just thrown in on the end there for anyone that anyone that I guess likes it. I think it's cool. We made it ours.
Yeah, nice. No, it's what do you call it? From start to finish, it's just yeah, just a real treat to really listen to. Um, so, in regards to Miles Away, the new video that you released on the 3rd of October,
Yeah.
talk us through that, the story behind the video, the concept, and how that all came together.
Hmm. So Miles Away, like the song itself is about loss. We tried to keep the lyrics a bit open ended as far as like whether that's losing someone to a tragedy or whether that's like losing someone like in a relationship or like whether that be a like a romantic relationship or a personal relationship. Tried to keep it a little bit open ended. I feel like songs become everyone else's once they're out. So if you make it too specific, then it's not. Yeah, it's just your
Yeah.
song that they're listening to. Um, but then the music video idea, oh, that was stressful to be honest. We definitely had that song ready to make a music video about a year ago, and we made the music video 3 weeks before it came out, or we filmed it 3 weeks before it came out. And Chris did all the like it was a green screen video, so Chris did all the stuff in Unreal Engine and made a world.
Mhm.
um, but that was always kind of the idea, like keep it on the theme of like if you look at the Return to Tragedy video, that sort of like brutalist vibe. Keep it that, but make it. I don't know. At one point, it was going to be a cemetery. There was also a point where we were gonna film like a music video in a cabin and then try and find a cemetery or something. A lot of ideas were thrown around sort of last minute. Um, yeah, I think that was all just Chris's magic. And I was like, there's a if you look in the one of the scenes in the video, there's like a big sun thing burning. Trying to keep it as like sonically not as sonically, trying to keep the visuals somewhat on theme with the metaphors that we were using within the song.
Yeah.
Um, and then I don't know where Chris got it, but the stars shooting stuff, like it was just yeah, very like timely. Like it felt like I don't know when I watched it for the first time, I was like, whoa, I actually feel like this is taking me back to times where I've lost people. This is crazy. I know this song too well to be having this feeling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you absolutely nailed that. So it was like, in regards to the brief, is everything like when you watch it, it makes sense. It actually feels like, it was like from conception, from songwriting to visuals, it feels like a soundtrack. So the way that,
Hmm.
oh, sorry, like watching a movie, you've done a really, really good job of like, telling that story. So, and that's, you know, I I love seeing that. I love that sort of little bit of extra thought, and it sounds like you guys put in a lot of extra thought in regards to how we actually being perceived. So, um, how important is the visual aspect to Heist?
Pretty important, I think, especially because Chris and for the long for I think for all of our music videos, Chris has done the video. Well, Chris Hangar, but Chris is the one in the editing cave on our videos. Um, I think it's always been important. One because he like that's what he does for a living. So I guess part of it is kind of like the same with my marketing stuff. Like if our songs do well, then that helps our careers, and they're just sort of like a cat that keeps eating its own tail. It's probably not the expression, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess it's important from like a professional standpoint of being like, this is kind of our showcase of what we can do, but also for just from the point of view of like, after a while, it becomes, I don't know, something we care about, like being like, what's the coolest thing we can do with the amount of money that we have without going completely broke? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's usually like the motto of Heists. um, yeah, I think sometimes they're like Miles Away was definitely like a last minute one, which ended up paying off really well. Um, we're moving into newer stuff. I want to be even more prepared than we have been in the past, but it's definitely important. I think it's like a visual representation, and even like the way that social media works now, it's all visual. It's not
Mm.
like, hey, click this link. It's like, look at this part of a music video. Does that intrigue you? You might not even go watch the music video, but because you saw the cool video, you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's like what a cool brand they have, and then go from there. So there's like the business side, and then just also like from an artistic point of view, like we just want to do cool shit. Can I
Yeah.
swear on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Bit of a side tangent. So how is that over Heist's career? How have you seen the change and the evolution in regards to songwriting, marketing yourself as a band, and also getting your music out to as many ears as what you possibly can? Because I mean, that's the main thing, isn't it? Really, like we just, musicians just want to get their music heard. So, how have you seen the music industry evolve over your guys' time?
Um, I guess for us specifically, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
So it's from the inception of the band to
Mm.
where it is now. You Heists are phenomenal at what you call it, the image side of things. So, and having it as part of your band. How have you seen that evolved over the course of like the band's what you call it, history, in regards to putting, I guess, more of an emphasis on the visual side of things? Because you brushed on media at the moment is all visual.
Mm.
Yeah. So how have you seen that? Has that, over your time, have you seen that change from the start of when the band started to now?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So the like reels and TikTok and all that sort of stuff when we first started the band didn't exist. And also like when we first started the band, like before we'd released music, or maybe this was our old band, but like in our old band, like it wasn't normal for bands to like local bands to put their stuff up on Spotify. That was like, how did you do that? Um, yeah, I'm showing the age of me and music at this point. Um, yeah, whereas like everything, it changes a lot. And like with me working in the marketing side of stuff, like I mean, a lot of the stuff I do is Facebook ads, but now there's like a big, massive side of just organic content. And for a long time, not to get too nerdy, but like organic content didn't exist. It was pretty much pay to play on Facebook or Instagram. And TikTok kind of changed the game on that. For better or for worse, I'm not really sure. I think it's better for marketing yourself as a musician, but a bit worse for society as a whole. Um, but then the way that and I think we took that in stride. So we always try to do something different on social media. Like an example would be for our song "Submerged in Pain." Chris made like a moving tab video for the song. That smashed on social media, and like I meet people now who are like, "Oh yeah, you guys are the guys that did that video." I'm like, "That's so random," but yes. um, yeah, I think that's another thing. Like being diverse with how you represent yourself is important. Like it's all well and good to do. I mean, in the formats of the way that you represent yourself, I guess. Like doing different things like that when you're in a band and trying different things as far as like ways of pushing things. Like rather than just getting in a habit of being like, yeah, we have a show coming out, we put the flyer up, we post this kind of video, we do this. Like that's important, but I also think like doing the things that have worked or that people have resonated with, I guess is a better way of saying that. But also finding ways to be creative and like make that part of the process. So like I know a lot of people aren't into the whole like social media side of things, and they're like, I just want to make music. Like I want to make the art that I care about. I guess with Chris and Guy being such like in that visual industry already, it kind of just became a part of the band. So now we're always just like trying to think of new ways to do social media things. Or like, yeah, keep it us. Like we don't want to go on TikTok and be like eating ice cream challenge. Like that's not really us. We
Mm.
want to keep it like on brand, but also relatable. Um, and that'll change. I feel like we might talk after the next release and everything's changed again.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting, especially for what makes a band member now? It's so, you know, playing tight and being able to record is almost a gimme. Like, yeah, that's not
Hmm.
an attribute that should get you banned. Everyone should be at that particular level. It's like, okay, well, if I'm, and I guess looking for some advice that you can give to some, musicians who are looking to join a band and like, especially go on tour. Like, what are the different types of things? Like, when you're, looking to join a band or start a band, is it better to be, what else do you bring? Are you good at photography, visual marketing, Facebook ads, content creation, songwriting and recording? So do you think that gone are the days that you can just be like, mate, I can smash the hell out of this pentatonic solo and I can do it really, really well and I can give everyone attitude? Or is it that, okay, well, you have to be a good person to hang out with. You have to be, you head around just basic social media. Do you think that those different types of attributes are now key for someone to be successful in a modern band?
I think that you touched on something there about the being a good person. I think that's like almost equal to you being able to play your instrument well and write a good song. Um, the industry is very much so a bunch of people that become friends and work with each other, and people often want to work with who they want to work with. I guess that's at a higher level. So before you would be looking to go on tours with other bands, you'd probably be joining a band. Um, I don't know with Heist specifically. So like when we first started all this, I was just kind of there, and then over time we've all sort of just developed little roles, and like there's a gap that needs to be filled here. Let's fill that. We're self-managed, um, for better or for worse, which is sort of like forced us to learn how to do all the little things that a manager would do. And I think we picked them up. Like there was a turning point at one point. Like I think maybe just after the album where we're like, okay, this I think we kind of get this now. Like how to operate, not just as a band and a bunch of people making music that we think is cool, but like how do we run this as a business whilst also holding up that level of integrity that we're doing what we want to do. Um, yeah, I think for younger people looking to join bands and stuff, if you have like put your hand up, or say you're in a band and you guys are a young band that haven't really done too much yet, put your hand up early. Try and start finding those roles and seeing how you can meld into that. Like I wouldn't be doing the marketing stuff that I'm doing if it wasn't for the band. So, and that was because at one point Chris was like, I have too much going on. Can you try and work this out? And it was in the middle of COVID, and I was like, you know what? I got nothing to do. Like, and then yeah, it's my life now, just working with bands, and yeah, I've got amazing friends through that. Like half of the bands that we've taken on our headline tours have been clients of ours at some point, and we just knew that they were good people to work with. As well as obviously like we back their stuff. Like shout outs to everyone that's ever toured with us. Um, yeah, I think it's definitely super important to be a good person, and we're all good people. Like everyone's good somewhere inside of them. Like
Mm.
yeah, just sometimes people have a stick up their ass, and they can pull that out if they need to.
It sounds like yeah, for Heist and I guess for all people in general is supporting other people and supporting other bands and helping, like if we all rise together we all get there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
Rising tides raise all ships. Yeah,
yes.
that's I believe in that
Yeah.
more than anything.
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. So, Australian tour coming up now.
Yeah,
Talk us
boy.
Yes, yes. How do you feel about going into your headlining tour?
Pretty good, pretty good. So we did our first. We'd headlined Sydney heaps up until November last year, and then we did our first proper headline tour. That was the first time we'd ever headlined in Melbourne or Brisbane. Um, Kind of daunting. That was pretty scary at first, but I think we sort of just tackled it head on. Um, Yeah, this one, it's selling okay. Like Melbourne's about to sell out, which is pretty crazy. I think at the time of recording, there's about 15 tickets left there. Everywhere else is about half sold-ish or a little bit more, and we're still a month away from the first day even kicking off. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. Like we were like, all right, let's tackle. It's like for anyone that doesn't know, you sort of not that there's a way of doing it, but like when you're kind of grinding from the bottom up, like we used to suck and then we're slowly getting better. You headline the 100 cap rooms. We did something a little bit bigger last time. We played on a boat last time actually. That was really cool.
Nice.
Um, yeah, it was really Sydney Harbour Cruise. It was very expensive but very cool. Um, but we like did the 100 cap rooms and we got through that. And we were like, all right, cool. That's sort of we're getting a feel for it. And then we've obviously released all this music and stuff since. And then we were like, all right, well, let's just take on bigger rooms, like interstate. Uh, Adelaide was not the size of room that I wanted, so we've never headlined there. But we knew we did the Ocean Sleeper tour and we sold like 4 times as much merch as anywhere else. I'm like, okay, we should definitely headline here at some point. That they seem to like us. But then the room that we wanted uh, Cranker, if anyone knows that. I think that was going under or something. And then the only thing of similar size that was available was Jive, which is 300 tickets. I was looking for like 150 cap, but it's selling pretty well, man. Like I'm like, yeah, surprised and kind of like, I don't know. It's sometimes it just feels fake. You know what I mean? Like it's and they're small rooms. I know it's like we're not doing like North Lane rooms or anything like that, but it's just like, oh, cool. People like if you put in the hard work, people listen and then people listen enough that they're like, you know what, I could go and see that live. That is kind of cool.
Yeah, man. Like I remember my first time seeing you live was that Ocean Sleepers tour, and it was actually the bass player in my band who was like, "Yep, you got to come along and see these guys. They're absolutely awesome." And funny you should say that. It was that Tab video because
Right.
I was like, oh, hang on. I'm like, and then I listened to you guys. I'm like, wait a minute. I know these guys from. I'm like, I know that riff. Like,
Mm.
I'm like, yep. And yeah, so that thing absolutely landed because I was like, oh, I know them. They're the tab video. Man, that riff slap. That was so good.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, sorry,
Was
digressed
it
on
the
there.
riff or the format? Like, did you like the? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think it was everything. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
without the format, I wouldn't have paid as much because I mean. Yeah, probably the format and like, oh, cool, there's tabs there. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It
Yep.
gets your attention for more than the 2 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
We keep bullying our guitarist guy, saying it's because he had like a Dying Wish hat on or something,
Ha.
and he's like he's since lost the hat, and I'm like, see, bro, the videos are all tanking because you lost your cool hat.
Oh, mate, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. All right. So what can fans expect from your up and coming tour?
We've finally got a sound guy. We've just been running the house dudes for a very long time, which has been questionable at certain points in time. Honestly, it was only really bad on the North Lane regional tour. We played Penrith Panthers, and the guy look fair slog. Like it's I don't know if you know what Penrith Panthers is, like a football club like 50 kilometers outside of Sydney,
Hmm.
like their leagues club. But the dude pretty much came up to me and said, like, hey, I've never really listened to this music before. Like this really sweet old dude. And like he did his best job, but he'd never heard a metalcore band before. So yeah, one of my friends, Varun, actually came up to me. He's like, that is simultaneously the best and worst you guys have ever sounded. So that's interesting. um, but I think a lot. I think we stepped a few things up for the Ocean Sleeper tour. Just like little extra production in older songs, just to try and like elevate the experience a bit. Um, and we've pushed that further this time. And we've got a sound dude. We're about to do a production day soon to make sure everything sounds and looks good. Yeah, and the rooms aren't going to be empty, so that's really good.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think bigger, better. We'll be playing all the songs off the EP because it is a celebration of the EP, as well as some of the older classics and the older hits.
Oh, love that. Love that. Any particular venues or cities that you're most hyped to play?
Currently, Melbourne because there's 15 tickets left.
Yeah,
Like
nice.
once everywhere else catches up. I think that's like the one hard thing about being Heist because we do have like all of our hands on the wheel simultaneously. The we don't have a big booking company putting up the money so that we can do ads for the
Mm.
tour or whatever. So there's a lot more risk involved. Obviously, that extra reward at the end as far as like money and whatever else, and also just a bit of freedom in doing like what we want to do. Not that I'm opposed to a booking agent. I definitely want one after this. I think we're too busy, but yeah, I think there's that extra level of stress of like, oh, if this goes badly, then like we're in the whole $4,000, and I've got to. I'm still, regardless of what happens, I have to pay the bands and played with us because they're working hard for it. Um, yeah, so I guess there is like that stress leading into it, but then from that, and we got this on the last tour, like when you finish it and you sell out all the rooms or you sell out most of the rooms or whatever, there's no feeling like that in the entire world. Like having a successful show and knowing that you did it all of like all out of your own blood, sweat, and tears.
Nice, nice. I guess, yeah, it's just forged in fire, isn't it? You'd imagine it would for the band, everyone's all in it, everyone's all in it together, more skin in the game, and yeah, probably just gives it a bit more of a, you know, really remind you that you guys actually really, really want to do this.
Yeah, yeah. And like we look, I think this is a random side note, but I'll say it anyway. We fail. Everyone, I think all bands at some point, like it's never like a smooth run to the top unless you're Sleep Token. But I'm sure they had their, like in their earlier years, had their struggles and like trying to get through things. So it's just nice to see. Like I think the band is actually a good band now, which is kind of cool. So I was like, we're okay for a long time. Um, yeah, I think it's nice to see like yeah the fruits of your labor pay off, and like if it doesn't pay off and if you fall on your face, that's okay. Like if say we don't sell out Adelaide, that's fine. We couldn't get the venue we wanted to do. As long as we can make the best out of that experience, then hell yeah. I still want to sell that out. So if anyone here's from Adelaide, please buy a ticket.
All right, Adelaide crew. I'm from Adelaide, so Adelaide
Oh yeah,
crew, we need to pump this up. We'll all be there, so make sure you're all getting down. What do you call it, to jive? Last time you guys were there, you absolutely blew the house down. The sound there is absolutely phenomenal out the front, so it's a really cool venue. So I'm pretty sure we'll what do you call it? We'll get behind you and we'll show you a bit of A-Town love,
man.
bit of 618 love.
618. That's some crafter stuff. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited. It'll be good.
All right, awesome, man. So looking back, what are some of your proudest moments with High so far?
I think when we had Left to Loathe hit 1 million streams, that was a big milestone. I think for all of us, just like to know that there could be that much interest in our crappy little band. Um, Headline tour last year, but essentially, I don't know. It's for me, and I will speak for the other boys when I say this, but it's not necessarily about the destination. It's about the journey. Like through this band, we've all started working in the wider music industry, whether that be marketing, photos, videos, and I've made so many friends. Like it's a part of my life. Like this, yeah, it's become part of all of our lives. Uh, yeah, it'd be weird if this ever ends, to be honest.
Oh man, you guys are absolutely crushing it. It's great that you've actually been able to branch out and also start to make some income around music as well. So I
Mm,
guess, essentially you guys have made it. Like, I mean, like making a career based around music, and you're involved in music. Yeah, I think that's a great thing. And look, I always love the idea of don't be in a rush to be successful, be in a rush to be great.
mm.
And yeah, you
It's a
guys
good
are you
say.
guys are doing a great job of that. All right, so what do you hope your listeners get out of listening to your new EP?
I They feel something. I think that's something we were trying to get across. Like we were trying to be as I guess raw as possible, like when speaking to topics, whilst simultaneously trying to make it like relatable, so it's not just like here's a specific story, like the old melodic hardcore songs, which are talking very specifically about their breakup. And there is power in that. That's just not really our style. Um, yeah, I hope not even just like listening to the EP, but if you watch all the visuals, like I hope you feel something.
Nice.
I hope you feel something, and
Love
something.
it.
I hope that inspires you to do something. I'm not sure what, but
Brilliant. What's next after Heist after the after tour?
so I'm gonna take a nice long rest after the headline tour. I don't know, we might get a tour offer or something afterwards, but currently, so next week we're going to Melbourne to start recording whatever the next thing is. Um, I think we'll be doing just a few songs at a time, and then work out when we're going to release those or if they're finished in time. And yeah, so no steady hard plans as far as yet. Um, but yeah, just keep the ball rolling. I think we've learned a lot from like releasing these songs and seeing not just the feedback, but you sit on the songs for so long and then you listen to them a million times and you play them in the rehearsal room so many times that they sort of just become that we're just playing that song. And then when you put it out, it kind of gets new life. And then it's the people's song, and then you start playing it live, and you get that like sort of a feedback circuit sort of thing going on. So I think from like not just writing the EP but releasing the EP, marketing it, doing all the music videos and everything, I feel like we're really ready for whatever the next thing is. Like I'm really excited to make the next song, and I think we want to do some heavy ones. I think we released a few softer ones the last few times. I'm like, let's bring some riffs back in. Like let's go hard.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
but that might change in 6 months. We'll be like, let's do a ballad. Like
Ah,
let's.
nice, nice. I'd love to hear that from you guys. Like, what's the old ones where the formula where you start off nice and soft, you do a half chorus, what do you call it, acoustic. You know, you bring it out. You know do nice and soft, then build into your what do you call it, first chorus, then you drop, and then you come in smashing in the last chorus. I used to always love that formula. Always love that one.
Are you in our Dropbox? I feel like you just.
Oh, mate, you are getting me excited for what's come to
So
come
with
then.
maybe I don't know. It might get it completely rewritten, but maybe some blast beats as well, just to make it funny.
Oh, I do love my blast
Yeah,
beats. Yep.
me too, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right. Any words for fans who have been with you since day one?
Yeah. Sup, Ace? How you doing, man? No, I guess yeah. Thank you for coming on this really long, random ride. We've done a lot of evolving over the years. I think you touched on that in the review, which is very beautiful. Thank you. Um, yeah, we've sort of changed, and that's not because we're trying to jump onto trends or anything like that. I think we're like doing what we want to do at any given point, and we can now do the things that we've always wanted to do. And we have like a wide range of things we listen to and like things that influence us like across the whole band. So like if we want to do a heavy song, we'll do a heavy song, and if we want to do like a more chorusy, like upbeat song like Miles Away or something, like we will. Um, yeah, so if you've stuck around through all of this, thank you. Also, Outrage is a banger. You'll know what I mean if you're a day one.
Love that, man. Well, I mean, from my perspective, and listening to your guys' back catalog, it seems like a natural progression. Like the way that
Cool.
you are doing things, everything seems natural, and you have really carved out your own sound, in my opinion. So
Sweet.
yeah, my props to you. Like just going back through the catalog, it just yeah, it's actually really cool to like go back and listen to a band's back catalog, and then to actually see them actually evolve and actually like change their sound and become, you know, it's different, but it's still so unique. So I think you are definitely on the way of actually like when you put on a song, it's a high song.
Okay, good. Yeah, someone else has said that to me as well. Because like with say this EP as opposed to the album, let's just forget that Left to Loathe. I think that was a good transition song for that whole progression. Um, I think we were a little bit worried initially, like when we'd written all these songs, or not worried, but like the sort of just talks of like, I hope we don't lose too many people from like what we feel like is a sonic shift. But
Mm,
yeah, I had this conversation with Chris recently. I was like, I don't think it matters, man. I think like if we write it, it's a heist song, and his voice is very much so his voice,
yeah.
which sort of glues it all together as well. So like it gives us that freedom to explore things, I guess. Like he doesn't sound like I'm sure there are people that sounds like him, but like he's not like the typical metalcore vocalist. I guess he's got a little bit of like a timbre to his voice that I personally think is a bit unique. Um, yeah, it's good to hear that we haven't like completely just like abandoned our roots because that's not what we were trying to do. But you always have that thought in the back of your head when you're like releasing music and like how's this going to be perceived? Yeah, thank you. That's good.
Yeah, that sounds good. And yeah, so just on Chris's, like one thing that I really love about it is his melody selection,
Mm,
especially when he's bouncing back from. I guess you would probably see it as, I guess not listening to it as a rap, but it feels like there are some points where he'll accelerate a song in a verse, so everyone will be keeping it, and then he's making his melody off of the back of himself, but then he'll be able to excel it by coming up back on the E enders, like the one E ender, two E ender, three end, and then drop back into the one, three, one, two, three, four.
yeah,
And
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and yeah, just when you're just like, oh man, that there's just like so much attitude and angst, and it pushes the song forward and then brings it back. But while the music is still satisfying the ear,
Mm,
yeah, I just what you call it. When I've gone through, I've been like, "Ooh, you bad. That was nice. That was tasteful. That was good. I enjoyed that." So, yeah, no, I really enjoy your guys' stuff, and yeah, the vocal selection and the melody selection, and also the sonically and the tones and everything. Vocals
mm.
are a big thing for me, and when I'm listening to it, I think it is for everyone. Like vocals are key. Like when you're listening to it, and yeah, you guys absolutely shoot it out the park.
I think with like vocal stuff, like the rhythm of your melody, as well as like the actual note selection within the melody, I think that's super important, and that probably comes from having like 27 drummers in our band. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So like to be like we want things to hit, and like that one's got to be the punchiest thing ever, depending on the situation, or yeah, let things flow a little bit. Um, yeah, I think for us, I think whether we want it to or not, the way that Chris pushes things out and like yeah, the rappy thing. I think we started doing that on the album, and like I think that's cool. It gives
yeah,
it's like another tool in our arsenal that we can pull out and be like, oh, this would be a cool part for that. Hey, Chris, yell or
yeah.
Chris, talk fast. Like,
Well, it makes sense. It doesn't sound like, sometimes when bands do it, it feels like they're trying to shoehorn like a new metal sort of thing into it.
true.
But when you guys have done it, it's just like I wouldn't even say it's rappy. I'd say it accelerates. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just, yeah,
yeah.
it just
He's still
brings.
screaming the same. He's not like breaking down like like yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like
No, not talking trash on 28 days, but it doesn't have that sort of 28 days like style sort of vibe to it. It's still on brand and on character. And so like when I heard that sort of stuff, it just reminded me of, and this will be a big prop if you're what you call it, if you're a rap fan, is when I was reading a Rolling Stone article so many years ago with Eminem. He was talking
mm,
about rapping behind the beat, on the beat, his choices about just before, like going into like from the verse into the chorus, how he'd sit behind the beat. So that means he would then make what you call it, the chorus slap a lot harder.
that's
I
cool.
I hear like that in what you call it, heist vocals that there are elements of like okay that's a little bit more behind the beat and that's flowing back onto it so it gives it swing
Yeah,
and yeah
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
like I don't know if that's deliberate or anything like that but however it sounds good man.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Chris has definitely like leveled up heaps as far as just execution of ideas. I think, and like as far as yeah, when we first started this band, he really couldn't sing that good, and now when we're at the rehearsal space or whatever, like yeah, we like, just hearing his raw vocals with no reverb or anything straight in my ear, and I've usually got him pretty loud, like in my in-ear mix thing.
Mm.
Um, and I'm like, fuck, you got it right. You're getting better. You're getting better. And like he's always getting better. It's impressive. With like the swing thing, I don't know. I don't think it's super intentional. It's just kind of like, hey, that vibes, or this is cool. He yeah, he's with like phrasing ideas. he usually just like swings something out randomly. He's like, I think I've got it.
Mm.
You know, what I mean? Just like a eureka moment. He's like, this will do. This is the part. And very yeah, especially for the album, we did a lot of, and the EP, like the first EP, we did a lot of like vocal stuff together, like just in my garage at the time. We recorded the vocals for like two of the songs on the first EP because Chris got sick in the studio at the time and then we couldn't get studio time. So we just bought a really nice microphone and then worked on vocals. And then that led into us writing new stuff and then constantly working on his vocals. Yeah, I think I've heard that man sing more times than most people have gone to the bathroom in their life. Like it's yeah, not. I don't think it's intentional, but he's got a good rhythm in him. Like there's a groove in that man.
Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for your time today. Do you have any what you got any final thoughts or anything you'd like to say to your fans and to the listeners before we wrap this one up?
If you've checked out the EP, thank you. If you're checking out the EP for the first time, hit us up on social media. Let us know what your favorite song is. We try to reply as much as we possibly can. And if you're in Australia, specifically on the East Coast, come out to our headline tour at the end of the year. It's going to be a party.
Awesome. And Adelaide, let's rally behind these boys because you will not be disappointed. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we will see you. Well, I will see you in Adelaide, and yeah, hopefully everyone will see you on your up and coming Australian tour. Catch you later, man.
Easy. So easy, man.
That's another installment of the Coffin Chronicles. If you haven't already, like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all things Tales from the Crypt Keeper. This has been your boy BodyBag and Tales from the Crypt Keeper, where we awaken the dead one breakdown at a time. Catch you later.